Hi everyone, Dr. Janet Hull here. This is part 2 of my video series in the politics of greed in health and medicine. And it's very appropriate at this time of the coronavirus and the COVID-19 because we've got to come out of this, people. And so this is offering you ways to move forward as we begin to come out of this global plague. So we're going to focus on the solutions. I don't care if it's a health problem, a family problem, a physical problem, or a mental problem. You've got to find the cause of the problem, address that cause, and then design the solutions. That's the only way to move forward. So what we're doing in this series is we're going to focus on the solutions. Never give up on the solutions because that's the only way you're going to get out of it. All right. One thing that I wanted to talk about was alternative energy because this is a solution. Even if COVID-19 and the coronavirus is a health issue, it still is dependent upon moving forward into the future, and energy is what fuels this planet. It's what fuels us as individuals and societies and nations. So we need to unleash alternative energy, and we need to focus on alternative energy. Iceland is a perfect example. Iceland is an amazing country, and you need to go into the library and research some of the older books that talk about the history of Iceland, and then you can get online and you can look at what Iceland has done currently to make it probably the best country on this planet right now. I mean, I love the United States, and I'm an American, but Iceland has done some incredible things. It did not join the European Union, so it kept its country's autonomy, and it kicked out its global bankers, and so it went back to individualized and smaller banking system, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But one of the neatest things that Iceland has done is this country is 95% hydrothermal energy, 5% petroleum dependent energy. Hydrothermal energy is hot steam from the vents in the earth that power their generators and create their electricity. Iceland sits on top of active volcanoes, and so they have trapped the hot steam to fuel the country. Now, the Ford Motor Company makes a hydrothermal car engine for Iceland. And I'm not going against the Ford Company or dogging the Ford Company whatsoever, but I'm using it as an example of the politics of greed. If the Ford Motor Company already has in place a working hydrothermal engine, why don't we introduce that into the United States and use that for the western half of our country, which we could probably power off the hydrothermal energy coming out of Yellowstone? We need to replicate Iceland's energy grid in the countries around the world that can tap into the vents from volcanoes within their countries. Let me tell you something, people. As a hazmat engineer and an environmental scientist, the Green New Deal is an example of the politics of greed. It's a bunch of crap. What we need to be focusing on is cleaning up human pollution. This is how to move forward. All right? We need to clean up our own personal spaces. And when you clean up your own personal space, then you can clean up your community space, and that community space can then clean up the state, and the state cleans up the nation, and the nation contributes to clean up the entire world. And this is what the Green New Deal should be. Simply cleaning up human pollution. We need to clean the oceans from human waste and trash. I've mentioned that there is an island of plastic floating in the Pacific Ocean. There's no excuse that this wasn't cleaned up decades ago. And I've talked about limiting the growth of cities, because if we limit the growth of cities, we limit the concentration of the pollution. So there are many, many wonderful things that we can do to help improve our energy moving into the future. We need to put our current grid underground. What amazes me is when a tornado or a hurricane hits and the grid comes down and people lose their electricity and they lose their power. All we do is turn around and rebuild it above ground. Hello? We need to be putting our energy grid underground worldwide, and we need to be recycling everything. Old school Germany used to recycle even their food. They put it into a government recycling program, composting program that provided soil enrichment for farms, and compost can also be a source of fuel. People, we need to be recycling everything, and we need to be taking the production of plastic and decreasing that and increasing the production of industrial hemp. Hemp can be used in place of plastic. Hemp can be used in place of fuel. Industrial hemp has many, many uses, and it is pollution-free. We need to bring earth science and history back into the education system, and we don't need to be rewriting earth science and history. We need to be looking at all of the data from the past, the present, and push that into the future. And for consumers, which humans are consumers, we take away from the earth. Whatever we take away, we need to be putting back. If we cut down a tree, we need to put back another tree. If we're going to cut down areas, farm areas, and natural native grasslands to build neighborhoods, to build cities, we need to be putting back those grasslands somewhere around where we're building. We don't need to be clearing to build. We need to be building within and around what nature has already provided. There are so many things that we could do to improve our infrastructure within technological societies. One important solution to our problems is to focus on the health of our children. Our children are the future. The next generation is the future on where we're moving. These are our future politicians, our future inventors, our future entrepreneurs. Healthy children makes for a healthy future. And I tell you what, the place we need to start this day and time is no mandated vaccinations for our children. We need to wake up and seriously study and look at all sides of the issue of autism and vaccines. No vaccine should be given before 24 months of age. The brain does not complete its development until 24 months of age. So we do not need to be injecting vaccines that have been altered to enter the brain in a child younger than 24 months of age. It's very, very important that we focus on the vaccination issue. Homeschooling is very important. Even if your child is in a public or private school, homeschool means schooling at home, and that means schooling about life lessons. You want to teach your children all about the things that they're not going to be taught about in school, how to be responsible. Teach them about recycling, how to take care of the pet, cleaning up their room, getting along with each other, getting along with their siblings, their parents, their friends. There are so many things that we could be teaching our children when they're at home. So introduce homeschooling back into your home. We need to take out the bias in science and history, and I just mentioned this earlier. No rewriting of our science and history. This is a disservice to humanity, and this is no way to move into the future. We need to teach real math and English skills. As a professor, I can tell you that year by year by year, my students are sliding down the education pole. They no longer have good math skills. They don't have good English skills. They're not reading anymore. We need to encourage more reading and writing. We also need to remember that we have got to balance a child's education using technology. We need to get them off the iPads. We need to get them off the cell phones and the text streams and the Instagrams. We need to limit that and balance that with education of what the earth is teaching us, a living library. What's outside the door? Get them outside, get them in nature, show them real teaching tools. Spend time as a family together, even as a single parent. It's very, very important to keep communication going and to keep relationships going. I think one of the best things to do is to eat dinner together. Turn off the cell phones, turn off the television, spend at least an hour together. Prepare your meal together, eat it together, and then clean it up together. It's very, very important to do this. And this is something many cultures around the world do. Dinner time is family time. Reintroduce that. Get your children to come back into the family unit again. Another important solution is money. Money is important. It's a tool that we need to use, but not a tool that needs to control societies. The first thing you need to do is to learn the difference between currency and money. This is how we can move into the future with freedom and autonomy, creativity, new inventions, and keep moving forward. Currency is the exchange of things of value. Money is the thing of value. We exchange seashells, gold, silver, food. We can barter things. We can sell things. Money is the thing that you're selling. Currency has become fiat. Currency is digital. It doesn't exist. It's not backed by anything tangible. Money is what is tangible. So we need to forget about the currency and focus on the money, the thing of value. We need to really watch out for moving forward with digital currencies that have no backing of value. I really highly recommend Mike Maloney's Hidden Secrets of Money series, and this is his website. This is one I've chosen that gives you the full series of it's free, and it's a video series. It's like a college class in what is the difference between currency and money. How can we keep our freedom using money? Okay? We need to watch out for the funny money currency and stick with the value of things such as gold, silver. If your car is paid for, it has value. It can be sold and exchanged, okay? So the future of money is very, very important as a solution of getting us out of this issue that we're in right now. We need to dissolve the Federal Reserve, which is as federal as Federal Express. The Federal Reserve is not a government agency. It's a big bank cartel business. We need to break up the big banks and disengage the power that banking has over our lives. Banking focuses on funny money currency, okay? It doesn't focus on tangible money exchanges. It used to, but not after 1913, when they formed the Federal Reserve and the IRS. We need to create more local credit unions as opposed to the large national banks. And this takes us back to our smaller villages and greenbelt centers, where we could have local banking that is supported by local money, backed by tangible, real things. We need to get rid of the credit card system that we have currently. We can keep credit cards, but lower the limits. Use credit cards just as an emergency savings backup if you need some auto repair, or if you need some assistance if you have a medical emergency. And again, people, no federal digital currency funny money. We need to return to money that is backed by tangible assets and real value. This is very important, people. It dips into everyone's pockets, and this is something that we all need to seriously change and make better for the future. We need to remember that this beautiful planet that we're on has had many, many extinctions in the past. We are as fragile as that butterfly. We are a part of this planet. Humans do not control our planet. Our planet controls you. If you want to learn more, come to janethall.com. Get on my Facebook page for my Nutritional Holistic Network and for extinctiontheory.com, which is my environmental science website. Thank you so much for joining me. More to come. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay in balance.